Welcome back to Project 613. Today we learn one mitzvah, the mitzvah of kisei hadam, which means covering the blood. And this means that following the ritual slaughter of kosher undomesticated animals and birds, it is a mitzvah to cover up their blood with earth or with dirt. This mitzvah applies only to undomesticated animals and birds, as the verse clearly stipulates, asher yotzud tseid chayav ha'of, which means only animals that need to be captured. Then, v'chisohu ba'afar, that once they have a shchita, once they were ritually slaughtered, their blood needs to be covered with earth. Like any other positive mitzvah in the Torah, there is a blessing that's recited when fulfilling this mitzvah. Now, what's the reason for this mitzvah? Why do we need to cover the blood of animals and birds with earth? Well, the Torah itself tells us, ki hadam hu hanefesh, which means the soul, the life of the animal is found in its blood. And in a way, this is a way of paying respect to the life of the animal. Where even though the Torah permits us to eat from the meat of the animal following the shechita, nevertheless, the life of the animal itself, which is considered to be contained in its blood, that needs to be covered. Now, why does this apply only to undomesticated animals and birds? What's about domesticated animals? So one of the fascinating explanations is that when it comes to domesticated animals, they are much more under human influence. And because of that, they are considered to be further away from their own nature, and in a way further away from the way God created them, because they are really under control of man. Whereas when it comes to wild animals and birds, they retain their own nature the way God created them. So in a way, they're closer to God and further away from man. And that's why, specifically, the undomesticated animals and birds are afforded this extra respect. Another one of the explanations is that it's the domesticated animals that, for the most part, were brought on the altar, and the blood of the domesticated animals following their shechita, when brought in the Holy Temple, some of it was sprinkled on the altar, and therefore, once there's a mitzvah associated with the blood of the domesticated animals, the Torah didn't make any difference between any time they are slaughtered, whether for a sacrifice or any other time. Maimonides teaches us something very interesting, a principle that he teaches us about this mitzvah that really applies to all mitzvot. And he says that when fulfilling this mitzvah of covering the blood with earth, a person shouldn't do it in a disrespectful way. You shouldn't just kick the earth on top of the blood. Rather, it should be done with a knife or with a vessel in a respectful way. And even though you would think here, this is a dirty mitzvah, you're just covering up the blood, you should just be able to kick it. Nevertheless, Maimonides says, no, this should be done in a respectful way because this is a mitzvah. We're doing this in order to honor God. And since this is part of a mitzvah, this is a way of fulfilling the will of Hashem, therefore it has to be done in a respectful way and not in a shameful way. And from this, of course, we learn a principle for all mitzvot and how we should fulfill all mitzvot in the best, most beautiful, most honorable way. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.